You know, when you think about shopping in India, it's really a tale of two completely different worlds. On one hand, you've got these incredibly vibrant, bustling local markets. And then, right next door, you might have a super modern mall filled with global brands. For the longest time, these two worlds just existed separately. But that's all changing. Right now, they're colliding in this massive retail revolution. So let's break down what's really going on.
And this whole story really kicks off with one enormous number. $1.6 trillion. That's the projected size of India's retail market by 2030. And listen, that's not just a little bit of growth, that is a massive tidal wave of economic change we're talking about.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about building more malls or getting more people to shop online. No, the real story, the interesting part, is how this incredibly unique, hyper-local market is transforming into a modern retail powerhouse. So how is this actually happening? Let's get into it.
Okay, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the big picture of that $1.6 trillion future. Then, we have to dive into the absolute foundation of Indian retail, the power of local. From there, we'll get into the omnichannel strategy that's changing the whole game. Check out the smart ways companies are finding ways to win. And finally, we'll look ahead to see what this new hybrid future really holds.
All right, first things first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this transformation. And, more importantly, what's actually fueling it?
Just look at this growth curve. I mean, it's incredible. In just 12 years, the market is on track to more than double in size. It just crossed the $1 trillion mark this year, and it is showing zero signs of slowing down. If anything, it's accelerating as we head towards 2030. And this isn't happening because of just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm. You've got a booming middle class with more money to spend. You have rapid urbanization that's even reaching smaller towns, and you've got more and more women joining the workforce. All of these factors are coming together at the same time to create this retail explosion.
Now this right here, this is probably the most important slide of all. The average income is crossing a critical threshold. You see, when China's average income passed that $2,000 mark, its consumer spending went through the roof. It just exploded. India is literally at that exact same inflection point right now, which means its biggest consumer boom is probably still ahead.
But here's the catch. All this growth is being built on a foundation that looks completely different from what you might see in the West. So if you really want to understand India's retail future, you first have to understand the immense power of its local sellers. So check this out. This chart might actually surprise you. A mind-boggling 76%, 3/4 of all retail in India today comes from unbranded goods and small local brands. This is not a market dominated by a few big household names. It is a vast ocean of millions of small businesses that are masters at catering to local tastes. And this local dominance is there for a reason. Trying to build a single, one-size-fits-all brand across India is incredibly difficult. Why? Because the country is this beautiful, complex patchwork of different cultures, languages, and tastes. This comparison to China just drives that point home. It shows you just how fragmented the Indian market truly is. So, what's the secret weapon for all these local players? Well, it comes down to one thing: a staggering, almost unimaginable amount of variety. In the industry, they call these different product versions SKUs, or stock-keeping units. Just to give you a sense of the scale, for a traditional garment like a sari, there are about 400,000 popular designs. 400,000. And it's not just in clothing. You look at something like toys, and there are an estimated 1.2 million different products on the market. And then you get to home decor, and the number is just unbelievable. 10 to 12 million different items. Can you even imagine the supply chain nightmare that would be for a big corporation? This immense variety is the absolute lifeblood of local markets, and it's something that big brands just can't compete with. So you've got this huge, incredibly complex local market on one side, and the growing world of organized brands on the other. How do you possibly connect them? Well, the answer is the single biggest game changer in retail today: omnichannel. Now, despite all the talk you hear about e-commerce, get this: the vast majority of retail in India, somewhere between 80 and 90%, still happens in a physical offline store. People really value that experience of touching a product, trying it on, and talking to a real person before they buy. And this quote right here, it gets to the heart of why that is. Shopping isn't just a transaction, it's a human experience. And the smartest retailers, they get this. They're not trying to replace their physical stores with a website, they're trying to integrate the two.
So what exactly is omnichannel? Well, simply put, it's a strategy where the lines between the online world and the offline world just blur. It's all about creating one single, smooth journey for the customer, no matter how or where they choose to shop.
Think about it. The old way was totally siloed. The website was one business and the physical store was a completely separate one. The new, omnichannel way is all integrated. So you might discover a brand on Instagram, go to their store at the mall to try it on, and then scan a QR code to have it delivered to your home. That seamless experience is what everyone is chasing. Okay, so omnichannel is the big idea. But how are companies actually making it work on the ground? Let's take a look at the specific strategies that are really winning in this new environment.
Pretty much all the successful strategies are built on these three pillars. First, you've got to have variety. You have to embrace the customer's demand for choice. Second, good value. Price is still a huge factor, so offering fair prices and loyalty perks is absolutely key. And third, convenience. Just making it dead simple to shop, whether that means fast delivery or an easy checkout.
What's so fascinating is that there isn't just one winning model. All of these different approaches are thriving by just mixing those pillars in different ways. Big hypermarkets, they focus on value. Specialty stores, they offer curated variety. Online marketplaces give you almost infinite variety. Then you have these direct-to-consumer or D2C brands selling straight to you online and building that direct relationship. And finally, you have quick delivery services that are all about pure, unmatched convenience. There's room for all of them.
So what happens when you put all of these different models into the mix, competing and collaborating? A really clear picture starts to emerge. This isn't a battle of online versus offline anymore. The future of Indian retail is undeniably hybrid.
And when you boil it all down, this entire revolution really comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. Every single time a customer decides to buy something from you, it is an act of trust. Doesn't matter if it's from a local shopkeeper they've known for years or a brand new online store with a great return policy. Trust is the ultimate currency.
The companies that are going to win in the long run will be the ones that build those bridges, the bridges between local and global, between digital and physical. So the ultimate question isn't really about technology or even about price. It's about who is going to earn the trust of over 1 billion shoppers. And that is a story that's really just getting started.